Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to do a little review of this. What happened was the other day I was looking on the internet and I came across this British brand called MHD. Now I reached out to them saying, could I review one of your watches? And instead of sending me just one watch, they sent me two. This one is a quartz, a Meca-Quartz. Now, normally I don't normally do so many quartz models, but I thought this design is really quite interesting. I thought it's worth a little review on it, to be fair. The actual company themselves, MHD, they've been around since I believe 2014, and all the design work it's done by a gentleman called Matthew Humphreys, who was I think he's now a contract designer for Morgan. So he did a couple of models for the Morgan company. It's just quite funny because my previous job before I went into watchmaking, I was a clay modeler. So I would sculpt the cars out of clay working with the designers. So it's a small world, but there you go. So anyway, what we have here, this I think is quite an interesting watch. It's called their Daily Driver DLC Black. It retails for around about £375 and it is available on different straps. It did turn up on this one, though I did put it on a few different leather straps just to see how it would look. And it's one of these, it just loves it. You can put so many different straps on this watch and it looks great. The dimensions of this, I should say, are 40mm by 13mm thick by 47 lug-to-lug, longest point across the watch, and the strap size on this is 22mm. Let's have a look at that dial though. The dial, I love its kind of, it's got a really pleasing dial, I think. You've got this very sort of like satinized black finish, but then it's been cut out and you get this sandwich effect here, where basically the top part of the dial is cut out to expose the lower part of the dial, and that basically gives the dial depth. And rather than being on one flat surface, even down to the subdials look like they're sunken down that tiny little bit. I think that looks great. There's also quite a bit of lume going around this, so the lume actually is pretty decent on here. Now, as you can see, this is a chronograph watch. Even though it is a quartz watch, being a Meca-Quartz, it basically has a gear train. So when I press the top ground here, pusher I should say, get a nice satisfying click, and you start seeing the chronograph hand sweeping around in what looks like a very traditional mechanical way. Now over here we have the minute counter for it. So it's only a 60-minute counter, but that's perfectly okay here. Over on this dial, we have a 24-hour indicator. Now this runs alongside the standard time. So at the minute, this is coming on for like 7 minutes to 2, and you can tell that is an AM because it's just past the 24. So that's how you use that. It's a nice way of filling the space, really. You also have a date down here of 4:30 cut out. I kind of like the round. It kind of keeps in with the flow of the rest. Even down to this hand here, this very triangular shaped hand. That's very reminiscent of the 70s chronographs from the likes of Lemanier, Omega, all companies like that used to use this very pronounced triangle system here. Now, as we come out from there, oh, sorry, let's do a reset while you can see, so you can see it. So if I press the top pusher here, and now the bottom resets, real snappy, nice feel to it, really. We'll leave that running while we do that. Now, the crystal is a sapphire crystal with AR coating. That's why every so often you can see a bit of blue haze on there. But it's got this lovely kind of chamfer on the side there. It makes it look like it's got quite a chunky crystal. And I like that. It just kind of, you see again, more depth to it. Now, as we come past this, the bezel, even though it looks like ceramic, I believe it's just been DLC coated. Their whole makeup of this case is basically a 4-piece design. So you have the bezel crystal, bezel, then you have the main body of the watch, which is skeletonized, which it just looks superb with these holes going through there. And then you have the barrel of the watch, which has been DLC coated as well. And I think it just looks cool. You know what it reminds me of? Bremont. but at a lot more accessible price range here. And then you have the screwed case back on this. Obviously it's a solid case back, but it does look really good. This watch is water resistant, but to 50 meters. So what that really means is washing your hands, washing the car, that kind of thing. So you don't really want to take this swimming, but it's not that kind of watch anyway. I think it personally, I love this case design. I just think it just looks that little bit special. I even like the fact that you got his big kind of chunky knurling on the both crown and the two pushers there. It really does. I think that the design alone of the case, it's just superb. It looks more than what the price tag is, even down to like the polishing section here, the brushwork going across there. I think it's personally quite a nice thing. Let's zoom out and we'll show it on my wrist. Quick wrist check. I'm wearing a red sub today. I'm off out to an event in a minute, so that's why I'm wearing that one. And basically Bob has the other one from MHD, Starline I believe it's called. That is a very nice watch. I'm looking forward to reviewing that one. So let's put some on my wrist. My wrist size, about 7¼ inch wrist. Let's take that off. I should mention the movement actually in this watch is supplied by Seiko. It's their VK64 hybrid Meca-Quartz. Let's try and put this on. Or it's a little bit awkward. Yeah, I do like it actually on the NATO, but I just also think a nice kind of funky black leather strap also looks good on this one. So there it is actually on my wrist. I personally quite like it. I think it looks really cool. And it's at a very accessible price point for a lot of people really. You know, let me know in the comments below, would you guys buy this? Is this a kind of watch you'd consider if you wanted a grab and go watch? I always think when you've got it's always worth having a quartz model in your collection, because sometimes, you know, if you're one of these, if you're lucky enough to be one of these people who has a good few watches, if they're all mechanical, you always have to set them and go out, which of course is no problem, part of the fun of owning these kind of watches. But it's always nice to have one watch which is always running to the right time, and that's where I think a quartz watch like this is something worth in the collection, or there again, just simply owning on its own. I think it's a really cool watch. But if this was your only watch, I'd definitely recommend buying a few different straps for it, because I think this would just look superb. It's one of these watches, if it was your only watch and you've got different straps, you can dress it up every month or two on a different strap and it looks really cool. Anyway, all the best guys, and most importantly, stay safe out there. Bye.